inside the 10, down to the 5.
Toward the Harvard sideline, he's across the 30 to the 40.
He's able to fend off the defender and bring in the game's first touchdown.
Yeah, so what is that podcast called?
It's called like Momentum.
Fahim Anwar, thanks for coming, brother.
Is that great timing just to introduce and I'm like,
As your sip.
Let's go, dude.
that's like the how's everything tasting when you have the biggest bite in the world at a restaurant.
Yeah,
they have a six. It's like they watch you to see if you have a giant bite in your mouth, and they go, "How's everything tasting?"
It's good.
I'm trying to do a bit these days about like waiters. Just you get one. How's everything tasting? That's it.
What are they supposed to say next time?
Well, no, because sometimes they'll overdo it.
Yeah.
You know, like one is nice. I like one,
That's
but when they
courtesy.
come back a second time, how's everything tasting? How's everything tasting?
They really want to sit.
Well, now you're bothering me. You know, just
Like you're getting less money.
yeah, just trust me that everything's tasting great.
You're
They're
bitter-
too needy.
Yeah. You have a funny bit about the waiter when they switch shifts and the other guy comes in. You're like, I didn't need to know that.
I didn't realize like how universal that bit is. I just thought that was something that I noticed.
Sorry.
So people, because yeah, that's the weird thing about when you put a special out or you put clips out on the internet. Sometimes these things happen to you,
Right.
and you think that maybe it's kind of like, all right, maybe I'm just observing this thing. So it's cool with like that waiter bit where a lot of people in the comments are like, oh my God, fuck yeah, like that keeps on happening, or why do they do that? And I had no idea. And then some waiters responded, they go, they do that because they want money, because the waiter's going on break and they're not going to get the tip money.
Right.
So they kind of want to be like, I'm going to take my break. So they want the patron to be like, oh, I'll settle up now. You know what I mean? So that
Right.
person
Have they
gets
ever
paid.
gotten that?
I feel like
I've
that's
never been
But
like.
I don't think the consumer
Okay,
knows
go-
that.
yeah.
It's so inside baseball that
Right.
the average person is just like, why are you telling me?
Yeah.
Like, then the whole joke is like, yeah, if I would have no idea if you said nothing. Like, I don't know that it's a new person.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be like, who are you? You're not my waiter?
No one's paying attention like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
Especially
thought it
'cause
was so weird.
There's bus boys and stuff anyways coming in and out. So
Right.
there's already a
I
bunch
always
of people.
love also too where you're like, can I get a fork? And it's a busboy and it's just like outside of their job description. Even though it's so easy to just fucking get a fork, you see their brain scrambling like, am I allowed to get him a fork? It's like the simplest human thing.
Yeah.
They go, yeah.
They're like, I'll tell the waiter.
Yeah, there's weird hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like the restaurant is so fascinating to me, you know? Like even when you want to do a simple substitution, I'll be like, instead of green beans, can I get broccoli? And the waiter's like, we can't do that. Like
Gotta ask
it's
the
a
chef.
it's a
Yeah.
lateral move. You know, like you have like, why is this even? Why are you worried?
Yeah.
And they go, like if they're worried about, I don't want to get in trouble. If you're working a job where replacing broccoli and green beans is gonna get you fired, you need a better job.
Yeah, I agree.
Job security.
You're
is
holding
not
on to
your-
that. You're worried about, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's funny. Like, as a comic, are you making these observations just all the way around? Or like, because you started as an aerospace engineer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's
Which
up
is,
with
which
that,
is
dude?
crazy
Yeah,
unique,
wowza.
right?
That's not normal. That's
Come
not a
on.
normal. What if I got bad advice from someone? I'm like, how do you become a comic? He's like, well, first you become a mechanical engineer, and then you work in
Tough one.
aerospace for 4 years
Yeah.
just to be.
Jokes in class?
Not really. I mean,
Engineering jokes. Oh,
Just lunch
gosh.
breaks, you're just making all the boys laugh. They're like,
Yeah,
yo,
no-
become a comic. And you're
not
like,
an
okay, I
engineering
will.
school, but like an elementary school, yeah. Like I would do sketches. I would be funny around the lunch table. And then I switched schools. So then I became a little more introverted when I switched school systems. But like my core friends, I could still be me. But it would take me a while to open up to the new group. Like you had to be my core friends. Like I'm not going to be bouncing off the walls.
In front of everybody.
Yeah, and that's the trouble with like when people know you're a stand-up comedian, they think that I'm gonna go to a party and just be like Robin Williams or some shit.
Right.
But there are so many different shades of comedian. Like sometimes I lay in the cut. Like I'm with my friends, okay. But if I don't know you, I'm just kind of like observing, chilling. I'm not gonna be like,
Yo, hey.
like yeah, I'm off
Be
the clock.
funny.
I'm off
Yeah.
the clock. Like
Yeah.
But I'll definitely be taking mental notes and kind of jotting stuff down if something strikes me, and then do it on stage and try it out.
Right.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
So how was that transition? Like, what was the first step you started doing? Like you started going on stage? Like you just quit your job immediately, or like?
Nah, it was kind of layered. Like I had to be pretty methodical about it. So I think like, okay, I graduated high school and then I started doing stand up that summer. So I just started doing open mics. I would drive to Seattle, living at my parents' house. And that summer I would just drive, do open mics. And then you kind of do a thing for long enough, you become part of the scene. So I would do open mics, and then I would get good. And then you get on some booked shows where you're not just writing your name on a list in like buckets and a hat.
Yeah.
That's how it is when you first start. And you do 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So then you progress in the scene and all that. And then, then I went to UW, so I got an engineering degree. So my parents didn't really want me to do comedy and stuff, but like I was still getting my degree, so they couldn't be too mad,
Right.
right? Because
Your hobby.
I'm still, yeah. Like it's just a side
Doing what
thing.
you're asking me to do.
Yes, exactly. So it's like one for you, one for me.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul. And so that's all I did. I just did stand up, and I did engineering for 4 years, and then I picked engineering because I wanted to be able to get a job pretty easy.
Yeah.
That's a pretty, like 4 years, you'll have a job, and I knew I
sure.
was just going to apply to jobs in SoCal. So I got my degree, and I just applied to a bunch of jobs. And
Why SoCal? Is it because you knew you wanted to get into the comedy scene?
yeah, I mean, it's different now with social media and stuff, because like
Right.
you could be famous anywhere, or you can kind of turn heads. Like look at like Logan Paul and stuff, like where they started. Like you don't have to move to a big city before you have to.
Sure.
But back then, that wasn't around.
Yeah.
So as a stand-up, you eventually had to move to New York or LA, and that still is true. If you care about stand-up, I think like that's the happening places. That's where like the best stand-up is going on. New York and LA, and now Austin kind of is also like a
Yeah.
sister city. So I'm West Coast, Seattle. I can visit my parents super easily. I'm not from the East Coast. It just seemed way easier. So that's why. And I wanted to do TV and film too. Just everything screamed LA.
Yeah.
So that's why I applied to jobs in SoCal. And then I got a job at Boeing in Long Beach. So that was the closest I can get. And I'm on Google Maps. I'm like, yeah. Like, you don't live in LA. You don't know how long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's pretty close. Dude, I almost got a job in Anaheim. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I wouldn't be a comedian if I got that job in Anaheim. Yeah. So then I was working at Boeing for 3.5 years while like half stepping it. I would drive up to Hollywood and do shows and stuff. And then finally I got to the point where I had to make the jump. Like it was obvious the job was holding me back.
Yeah.
And that's the dream scenario that I always wanted to be at. Yeah, I wanted it to be obvious where like, okay, now this thing is holding you back. And so it was easier for me to jump where I'm like, all right, this is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw you at the store, and like me and all my teammates, we've gotten super into it. Since I moved out to LA, I've always wanted to go. And
Oh,
then
yeah?
From now on, like, we
It's
go like
my favorite place,
Yeah,
man.
we go like once a month. At
Nice.
least. Yeah. And we had Adam Ray. Do you know Adam?
Oh,
Also
yeah,
from
yeah.
Seattle? Yeah.
Yo,
yeah.
Adam, he's a Seattle guy as well.
Right.
Stand up, and he's so tapped into sports. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a satellite. I know little things. My brother's super into sports, but like Adam, he like lives, breathes sports and Seattle sports
Yeah.
too. Like he knows Sean
Seahawks,
Kemp. He knows. Yeah, he's throwing out first pitches and shit.
I saw that.
Yeah.
he threw out the first
Crazy.
pitch.
He's tapped
Yeah.
in. He's tapped
killing
in.
it. He's
Yeah.
so. I think he's gonna.
He's
blow
great
up
too,
soon.
yeah.
So funny. His crowd work is
Yeah, it's
unbelievable.
really great.
Yeah, like so creative. That to me is like the most impressive thing a comic could do.
Crowd work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
People like it a lot too. It's different, you know. It's kind of like I'm probably not as good as crowd work as like Adam, but like I like jokes are I like crafting jokes because those are bulletproof. You can take them
Yeah.
to any city and but the thing is people love crowd work because it's in the moment and it's it's not pre-planned and it's there for everybody in that moment of time. So like crowd work is sexier than like bits.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Do you like so you're traveling this weekend, right? Detroit?
Yeah, so Detroit this weekend, and then I'm gonna road trip it to Minneapolis. I have a gig out there.
I was
the next
curious,
week.
like with your bits, do you find like they're successful no matter the location? Like if you're in the South, like a red state, or
Yeah.
Northeast versus Pacific coast, like do you have to like tailor things a little bit?
A
Like,
little, most of the stuff will be kind of universal human experience. Like the
Yeah.
waiter thing will
Everyone
work no
experiences
matter,
it. Yeah,
unless
yeah.
I'm doing a thing for Chili's, and then maybe they get angry, like a corporate gig. They're like, "You motherfucker! I'm just trying to get cashed out."
they just start booing you.
Yeah, but even then, they probably like it. Be like, "Yeah,
It'll be
we
funny.
do that."
Yeah.
It's when you delve into like politics
Yeah.
or politics, race, religion. But there's a way to finesse it, you know. But
people take that on too.
yeah, that's the fun of it,
Yeah,
though.
funny is
like,
funny.
yeah,
Have you ever
exactly.
said the wrong thing in the wrong place?
Well, sometimes okay. So I've been in town for a bit. I'm starting the new tour to like support the hour that I put out on my YouTube special. So you'll kind of learn just jokes that you do in LA. It doesn't hit the same way in, say, Utah or Dallas. And it might be just like a little, you notice it. Like it's not going to blow up the whole, you're doing 45 to an hour out there. It's not going to ruin the entire show. But you just know flow-wise, you go, oh, that was a hiccup. Let me just massage it to make it more universal or just take it out.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So you're just kind of doing some fine-tuning.
Feel it out.
The road makes your shit more universal for everybody. Yeah, and it's nice. I like the process. Like I don't want it to work everywhere out the gate because then you're not kind of like pushing a little bit.
So for football, we watch film. And, like, we go over ourselves and are like, okay, we're adjusting here. Do you do the same thing? Do you, like, watch your own shows and be like, okay, people were laughing or I was doing this weird or, like, anything like that? Or
Kind of. Like, not film because I think it's less necessary with stand-up. That's why you see a lot of phones on the stool because people are recording their sets. So you'll listen to it back. And it depends what type of show I'm doing. Like, if I'm trying a bit out or there's, like, a chunk that I'm trying, I'll record it. But if I'm doing the hits... there's less. I don't need to kind of learn that much. But if I'm consciously trying to work on a bit, I'm definitely recording it.
Is it just you that does that work, or do you have a coach?
No, we don't.
Not like football?
No coach.
It's just you.
Coach is yelling at you.
I don't know. Like maybe some comics get big enough where they're doing TV and movies and shit, and they have their friends come look from the back of the room, and kind of it's more of a machine.
Yeah.
But I think at my level and just like guys in the clubs and stuff, it's just your own iterative process.
Gotcha.
That's interesting. It's so different from our field because, like, we watch tape and it's a hierarchy. You have coaches telling you exactly what to do. I feel like in comedy, there's no playbook, and it's like maybe your colleagues are like, if Matt's a comic, like I like that bit.
Oh, that happens a lot. Like in the hallway,
that,
I mean, it'll be tags. So like usually this will happen a lot at the Comedy Store. You get off, and then there's other comics, just your friends. It's like a workplace, like a water cooler.
That's cool.
And then you'll catch sets. And I may have a tag, I'm like, oh, this would be funny if you said this, or like this could go here. So there's like little, you're not writing their entire act, but they're like a little seasoning. Right. And I'll get it, I'll give it. It's just sort of communal.
All the boys are helping each other.
Yeah, it's nice. Like if you have it. And I always say, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Because some comics will be like, you should say this. And
like,
you'll,
bro, I don't want to say that.
Yeah. Like, here's a joke, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
It's nothing to me if you don't. I won't be offended if you don't use it's your stuff. Yeah.
And it seems like it wasn't always like that. Like, it seems like there was a shift. A lot of people were saying Joe, like, really played a role in that. Like, it was competitive in the past, and he made it with his show and just, like, more of a collaborative environment.
I think it was probably a combination of Joe and the media landscape changing and, like, the internet becoming a viable pipeline. Because before, it was more crabs in a bucket because you had... The way to get on was like a sitcom on NBC or a sitcom on ABC. So you have 3 spots, and every comic is just trying to clamor. There was a bottleneck. But now that's kind of dying a little bit, especially for stand-ups, because back in the day, the only way to get on was to be like a neighbor on a sitcom. And then people would be like, hey, that's the neighbor from a sitcom. Let's see him at the Chuckle Hut this weekend. Right. There was no Instagram. There was no YouTube. There was no TikTok.
Yeah.
You couldn't be surgical with your audience. Like, people who like my shit really like my shit because they can find it on YouTube. They can find it on Instagram. They like me for what I do. They know what I do. Whereas in the 90s, you just had to be like, what you doing, Wilsons? Like, you lent a little bit of what you are comedically to some sitcom role. And there's such viewership on that it bled off and it was worth it. But now, if you're on a sitcom, like who cares? As a stand-up, like people aren't coming to see your show if you're the wacky neighbor on a sitcom. No one gives a fuck. It's a great paycheck, and if you love acting, then that's great. But like killing it on Instagram means more.
Honestly,
or building your YouTube audience means more than being like number 5 on a sitcom call sheet.
Do you see yourself like moving into acting? Is that something you want to do, or is you like?
A little bit, but again, like the media landscape changing. Oh, I guess it goes back to also, Joe, and with the internet, just we've realized everyone is thriving by having each other on their things and cross-pollinating. Like people who love stand-up tune into the podcasts and and you're like, oh, this guy's funny. I know him. I see him at the club. So we're all thriving by supporting each other.
Yeah,
Where the old model was just, you know,
Everybody
some
for
NBC suit or
themselves,
CBS
yeah.
suit was just like, we have 1 or 2 spots. Who do we? So everyone's just like pulling at each other. Yeah. So I do want to do the acting and stuff, but kind of more focusing on like my own stand up and social media and all that.
Okay.
And then
If that
I'm not going to
happens.
sacrifice that for that.
I like
Gotcha.
that better. It's like everyone can win now.
Totally.
Yeah, and your clips are killing it, man. Like
Oh.
I bet it's a large percentage of your fans probably were introduced to you through either your YouTube or your Instagram clips.
Totally.
Which is insane. Like for example, Schultz over COVID
Uh-huh.
with the stuff he was doing, where like you flip the camera
Yeah,
around. You know what I'm
yeah.
talking about? Like
Yeah.
the political stuff. Like he went crazy during COVID, and I feel like he just blew up probably 2x, 3x.
For sure.
And like what you're doing with cutting up like your special, I think it's genius. Like I thought it was hilarious.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in this flux phase with entertainment and the way people consume things. Because, you know, I'm straddled between generations where the way to do it was, okay, you got a Comedy Central half hour. That was like the thing that you were, or doing a Tonight Show.
Right.
And then that puts you on. Then maybe you get a sitcom. And just like none of that shit applies today. So it's more about, even just maybe within the last year, I will be so bold to say the special is kind of dead. The stand-up special, unless you do it on, like people have time for clips. You can reach people through a clip, but putting on an entire hour is a harder sell for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to break and people don't know who you are, you're better suited reaching them with like clips.
That's true.
Yeah, and like Schultz did that. You know, he did his special and like chopped it up, and the special exists on my YouTube for when people want to like see more.
Yeah.
But I think I'm reaching more people just via IG and TikTok, and after my shows on the road, I'll ask because I'm curious. Like, yo, what's your entry point? Like, how do you know? And I'll get like kids saying TikTok or like, oh, I saw a bunch of their
TikTok's the big
reels.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
We
you don't
get
need
that with-
followers.
That's true. Like
You
the
can get on
algorithms
people's
much more
pages,
authentic,
yeah.
or that's what we hear from our show all the time. Like I'll get people that come up to me like, I just saw you on TikTok, and like it's just not even some reels as well, but like much less on YouTube because you need to actually be subscribed to them.
Right.
But TikTok, for some reason, you just blow up like that.
That's so
Insane.
interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think my viewership is that big on TikTok because I'll have stuff go more on reels.
Okay.
But then after shows, someone will say, "Oh, TikTok," and I'm like, I don't understand how.
I think
like
they're
the numbers
consuming
don't
more.
make maybe.
They're just like watching so many TikToks versus how many you don't on Instagram as long as you're on TikTok. I feel like
Yeah, and then I guess I do have a few videos on TikTok that went like
Crazy.
super big. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So maybe they saw that, and yeah. It's a whole new world. I'm figuring it out,
It
man.
is.
I'm
Yeah.
pivoting
Yeah.
month and week to week, but it's empowering because
Yeah.
before you had to wait for somebody else to be like, "Oh, okay, you can do the thing that I know you can do,"
yeah.
or but now you're just like, you can just go.
Yeah, you
You
just
don't,
do
you
it
don't gotta
on-
wait for anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
like this is cool, you know.
Yeah, we
Like you
just-
pitch this to somebody, like, okay, I want to get a taco truck. I want to put some Spartan stuff in here.
It was funny, man. When Adam came in, he was like, "Dude, what is this? The Bang Bus?"
Yeah.
I feel like, it's unique, man. It's different, but I like it. I didn't want to do like some regular studio. I wanted to be a little different.
Yeah,
We've been
totally.
asked to do some studios. And we're like, no, we like it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
I
like-
mean, the walk is pretty nice just from, you know, you just roll out of bed and be like, yeah, let's do it. Open up the.
yeah. Well, some people do their show from their house. Like Logan.
true.
Logan does his at his house.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's a food truck that we used to give out food as well.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know
Okay.
if you knew that.
No.
Yeah. So it's this nonprofit I started. It's called Second Spoon, and we partner basically with like restaurants and dining halls, and we take all the surplus foods, and then we distribute it. So like out here, we'll go to Skid Row,
Uh huh.
and all the homeless people and people like facing food insecurity. I'll go with all my teammates. So it's like all student athlete led, and it's cool. And so like the truck already existed. Like we didn't get this for the podcast.
Oh, okay. That's
Right,
pretty
right.
organic, and that's
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
because
yeah,
you already
yeah.
had it, and then it converted into this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be kind of weird if I got this for the show. I feel like.
And then used it to do the homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The inverse would be a little strange. But yeah, so it used to be a FedEx truck actually, which is interesting.
Oh, wow.
It's like this 22-year-old FedEx truck, and so we gutted the inside. Like you probably, I mean, I feel like you wouldn't tell unless I said so.
I would have no idea.
Yeah.
I always think about whenever a UPS or FedEx truck drives by, just like, I would never do this, but like throwing a knife and just timing it because they have no doors.
Oh, through
Because
the
they
door?
have no doors.
Oh, that's right.
That's bold, just to drive around and be like, no one's gonna throw anything at me.
Never thought
I mean, yeah, I never really thought of it like that.
You've never seen the UPS truck and just think like if you had a
Well, not
ninja
knife,
star?
you know?
Because look, obviously it's terrible if you connected, but like that's pretty
But,
impressive if you
yeah,
could
yeah.
time it just right. Like,
Or maybe something that wouldn't kill him,
Probably
Like,
get a rock through there.
yeah, you can do a rock too. But there's something about a ninja star because it's I thought this would be funny too. Like if I'm going through TSA and I just had like a bunch of ninja stars taped to my body,
right.
and then they find them and I go, oh, you can't do this. I thought just because it's so absurd, it'll just plead ignorant. Like I thought I could tape ninja stars to my body.
Right.
Another one too. Like I always thought, if you had one knife in your suitcase, it's a problem. They'll be like, "What's going on?" And you
Right,
get.
right.
But if you had a suitcase that was just
Full of
full,
knives.
it was full of like 300 knives.
Yeah.
They would let you go because that's a misunderstanding. Like if
Yeah.
you have an entire suitcase full of knives, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I could."
They're gonna think you're a
Transport the-
serial killer.
Yeah, no, they think he sells knives or something. Yeah.
if-
100 knives to be a serial killer. You can do that
Yeah.
with one knife.
Okay. Here's what it is. One knife seems like premeditated. He's gonna
buying a
do
knife.
something with that knife. 300 knives.
You don't mess
is
that
like
much up.
Yeah,
selling them,
this is
yeah.
a misunderstanding at this point. It becomes less scary when it's 300 knives.
Yeah. I feel like you're Middle Eastern, right?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I'll get stuff on the internet because like I'll say Middle Eastern in a bit just because people can wrap their head around that quickly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to convey information in a joke.
Yeah.
And people in the comments will be like, "We're Asian" or "We're South Asian," and technically you're okay, but are you trying to make me a worse comedian? Like, I'll educate the audience, but you're making the joke worse because I need to fucking get to the joke. I can't be like, pull out a map and be like, here's where we are. Like Middle Eastern, you know what that is as an audience. Yeah.
No, I'm Palestinian, and my last name's Hassan. And so I was gonna say I don't think I was gonna fly well at the airport, man.
Oh, the knives, bro. I was coming back from
In a truck.
I was coming from London to New York, and then, I give them my passport, and then they go, follow me. This has never happened before in my life. And they take me to some wing of the airport that I've never seen before. And I guess you don't want to see it. Like, it's good you just want to go to baggage claim. You don't want to explore new parts of the airport.
Yeah.
So then I have to sit. You're a police precinct, kind of. You're waiting. The guy's looking at the stuff and just checking on you. And I guess there was someone with my name that they were looking for. And then they
Oh,
go, "You're
no.
free to go."
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like, okay.
Like someone on the list.
I guess.
On A-list.
So someone with my name, they were worried about, and they let me go.
Probably a common name, right?
Yeah.
But I could see on his computer he had my IMDb up, and so that was nice.
Oh, that's
Like,
nice.
all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I'm one of the good ones.
Check out my YouTube.
Yeah,
bro.
I go. Do you know what my star meter is? What's your badge number? I'm not that Fahim Anwar.
He was just looking at that anyway.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh my God, it's you! I'm so sorry.
I just had you up on my
I've been watching your clip. I've been watching your reels and TikTok.
TikToks.
Do you know
fan,
Logan
bro.
Paul?"
No, I had a very similar experience though. I was flying to the Middle East like right before camp started, and I pull up to the gate and I'm thinking everything's fine. I'm at LAX. I'm a U.S. citizen. I
Yeah.
was born in Florida. I'm like, I'm gonna be
Come
fine.
on.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, yeah, you can't bring anything on the plane, like 0 things, like only my phone and my passport in my pocket. And it's a 15-hour flight. I'm like, well, this is unfortunate, but I'm assuming everyone else on the flight, maybe they have the same parameters. Something's going on. Turns out I'm the only one. I'm not allowed to walk by myself through. Like, there's 2 people by my side the entire time. I go through TSA, then I also go through a separate part of the airport I've never been to. Take off my shoes. They're looking like through my mouth.
Through your mouth?
Like under my pants, they like do a little swab or something. The craziest thing. And like, oh, I sneaked AirPods in my pocket because I'm like, I'm gonna listen to something, right? Even though they told me I
Bro.
couldn't, and they like took that away
He
from
has
me.
AirPods.
Yeah.
Is this an apple bomb?
It was insane.
That's
And I was like, hey, like, can I get water? Like, I'm gonna be real thirsty on this flight. Like, I didn't bring in water. I was gonna buy it at the airport. Like, nah, like,
You might
sorry.
drown the pilots with a bottle of water.
It was absurd. It was in the United States, so it was similar to like what you went through. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's bananas. I remember, so like after 9/11, it was like way worse. Like now it doesn't happen that much. Like you don't get randomly, or at least I don't get randomly selected like I used to, like more so back in the day. But there would be times where I'm traveling with my family. So it's my mom, my dad, my brother, and me. And they ask for all of our IDs, which If it was just me and my brother, I understand. Like we're young, whatever. Like it fits the stereotype.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do you think that we're like a family of terrorists? Like I'm trying to prove myself. Like I'm really good at this thing. I want you to see me in action, Mom and Dad. Yeah, look at what I can do. And I'm just gonna like the whole family is gonna go.
Yeah, it's a family trip.
Yeah, like we're the Partridge Family of terror.
That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. So what you said? Are you performing tonight somewhere?
Not tonight, yeah, because I'm going to Detroit. I was like, I should take tonight off, just pack and yeah. But normally I would.
Yeah.
Every day of the week, or how does that work?
Usually Sunday, Monday, I'll take off, and then Tuesday through Saturday, I'll be performing. Sometimes I'll double up on one night. Maybe one night I'll take off if I have a thing, but pretty much like Tuesday to Saturday is kind of my days to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the week. Do you ever practice when you're not performing? Or are you like, nah?
Like running bits on like the cashier at at Ralph's. Hey, tell me if this is funny. No, that'd be so annoying.
They're just like, oh, here's this guy again.
No, what will happen though is you live life. It doesn't. Usually, I'll think of my bits when I'm alone and I'll kind of work them out. But occasionally, you'll be talking to someone and something happens, and then or something happens organically, and I'll just like jot down the seed of the idea to marinate on it for later.
Right.
But I'm never like, how about this? Like I'm never running bits by. Some comics will run bits, but I want the audience to tell me it's not funny. I don't want a random person just one-on-one say that's not funny.
Have
Like,
you ever told a joke like that in an audience and they just were like,
oh yeah, that's the whole, that's the gig. Like that's the whole point of being a comedian, and I love that. I love thinking something is funny. You have a hunch, and then either it is or the audience thinks part of it is funny. The audience is your editor, and then you kind of massage the material over time until it gets 100% hit rate every time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What if it's like a full bomb though? Because it's
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh, I've done full bombs.
Really?
Yeah.
but did
It's
you go
so
into it thinking,
awkward.
like, oh, this joke's gonna be.
This is
crazy?
gonna kill
Like,
it. Yeah.
They're all gonna go crazy. Dry.
Well, here's the difference. I think young comic, like for myself included, just when you haven't been doing it for a long time, you're just so needy and unsure, and everything is so new. And even like every joke you tell, you can tell the audience. The audience knows that you need this to go well, like for your well-being. Like
Right.
psychologically, this person on stage needs this joke.
Or he's gonna be
To-
crying.
Or yeah.
You can almost feel it. Yeah, you
Yes.
can feel it,
Yes. There's this weird umbilical cord between you and the audience. And if a joke doesn't do well, then it's weird and it's cringe, as the kids will say.
How old are you?
38. yeah, cringe. So like, but when you've been doing it for a long time, if a joke doesn't do well, then okay, it doesn't become precious anymore. Like you've been on this track so many times, you've seen the scenery, on to the next one. Like I don't need them to laugh. I want them to laugh, but it's not going to be catastrophic if the audience, because if you've been doing it this long, you know what a joke not doing well feels like, sounds like, and it's not like, oh my, like you're not going to crumble. I can like brush off a bad joke now and kind of smile and go on to the next one, but I think you don't have those tools when you're a younger comic. You're just like, you go into panic mode, and then your body has rigor mortis, and you're like, oh, where do you work?
I want to know about what's your worst comedic experience in all of that? There must have been one time where you were like, oh no.
What is it? I mean, I've mentioned this on so many podcasts. Like my horror story is I got booed at the Apollo when they came in Seattle. I was like 17 or 18. So I got booed by like 4,000 people.
Oh
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Like actively loud booing.
Actively booed. What other kind of booing is there?
I don't know.
Just like, so this is active. This is active booing or inactive. Is it dormant like a volcano? Like the boos are inside them, but they're not coming out yet.
Like a boo wave. Boo! And it just keeps going.
I wish it was a boo wave because that would mean some people weren't booing.
at one point.
Yeah, this was a coordinated boo attack.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What did you do?
That's just mean.
You just take it, and then I mean, what are you gonna do? You're like, ah, fuck you! You go into the crowd,
I-
boo me, boo you, motherfucker!
That would be
I'm gonna take on 4,000 people. I'm like John Wick.
Yeah.
Stop swinging at the audience, yeah.
What's up with people like coming up on stage and hitting people? Like, has that like now been a fearful thing? Or you don't care?
That was bizarre. I mean, there was a moment. I mean, you had the Chris Rock thing, and then you
Yeah.
had the Chappelle thing, and I don't know. I think people Maybe there's some copycat stuff with that.
Yeah.
But there's not a ton of that going on.
That's good.
Yeah, people were worried, like, is this going to be an epidemic now? People think it's okay? Like, I hope we're not that dumb as a country. We're like, oh, Fresh Prince said it's okay? I'm going to go up there.
Just going up.
I don't like that joke.
Smacks you
Yeah.
in the face. Like,
Yeah.
What's your best experience then?
best experience? Let's see. You know, I guess being at a point, you know, you do stand up. It's such a long slog. You're doing open mics, but then, you know, I'm at a point in my career now where I was on stage at the Comedy Store, and I'm supposed to bring up another comic, and then you get a slip of paper of, oh, there's a drop in. You open it up. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rock. So
Cool.
yeah, and just to know we were peers. Obviously, he's like eons beyond me, but we are working the same club, and that is something.
Yeah.
And there was also a time where he saw me in the back, and so I didn't know he was in the back. So I get off stage, and people are like, yo, he was dying. Like 4 or 5 other comics were like, yo, like Rock was dying in the chairs. Like he loved your shit. And that is,
Makes you feel good.
yeah, because he's one of my heroes. He's one of the best. He's on Mount Rushmore.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite comedian?
I mean, he's up there. I mean, Rock, I would say. Burr is one of my favorites. Chappelle. Yeah.
Goats.
Yeah.
Is that the Mount Rushmore for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never actually tried. Well, Eddie Murphy,
Murphy, yeah.
even though he didn't do a ton, it was just Eddie Murphy Delirious is such so much of comedy branches off of that. Just like I'm sure so much does off of Pryor and like Carlin, but Eddie Murphy's style of comedy just birthed so many different types of comedy that we know it is today. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many different styles. Like even like Theo Vaughn recently.
Oh my god.
We saw him.
Theo's an OG, man.
Yeah,
We go way back.
Theo's
Really?
I knew him pre-mullet, man.
Really?
Just bouncing around doing clubs in LA.
That dude, I heard like him, like it's not an act. Like that's just how he is. Like in normal life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's just so funny. He's always has like this hilarious story from some kid in his hometown. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know if they're real or not.
I
but they're
know.
can't
That's
be real,
that's part of
dude.
the.
I don't know.
It's so
Crazy.
specific,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he has such a language. He has his own Theo language that is. You're like, that's ridiculous, but makes perfect sense. The way you've strung those words together.
Yeah.
You go, what? He has a space brain, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can't. Yeah. Yeah, Theo's great.
So he's got his own different. Like no one's like Theo.
Yeah.
And then guys like you who are like I think really witty and like just well crafted bits, and other guys are just not purely, but like mostly off of like crowd work, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
I
so
think-
many different styles and different ways to make an audience laugh. It's really great. It's cool. Yeah. There's just room for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's refreshing. Like, you come to the Comedy Store, it's a different style every 15 minutes. On paper, it seems the same. Like, okay, it's just a person talking into a mic. How different can it be? But it can be vastly different and still elicit laughter from a room. And that's awesome.
It's incredible that no one before you decided to film their special there, like in all 3 rooms.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Because when I saw you, it was in the OR is the small
Oh,
one, right?
yeah. Or that's the medium one, the one downstairs.
Okay.
And it has that window that faces sunset.
No, what's the smallest one?
Oh, the belly room?
I believe it was the belly room.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Was it
Bar
me
back?
working on stuff, or was it...
I think you were working on stuff.
Oh, that's my monthly show.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
cool
yeah.
you like that one,
Yeah,
because those are just me doing bits for the first time.
Oh, it was great.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So that's a monthly show I started doing. It's cool because the belly room isn't that huge. I can pack it out. It's like 60, 80 people. And all these ideas I get throughout the day, they stockpile for a month, and then I get to do that show.
Yeah.
And,
Unload them all day.
unload them all. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And it's really fun. I think my fans like it too because it's raw. They know it.
just
I'm
work.
not like, it's less presentational. They're part of the process almost.
Right.
And they know that it's a works on stuff night.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah. So, like, can you go into a little bit your decision to do it at the store and like all 3 rooms and?
Oh, the special?
Yeah.
So, okay. I had done one stand-up special already back in the day for CISO. No one remembers what the fuck CISO is. you know how you barely know what Peacock is? This was pre-Peacock.
Pre-Peacock.
This was like their first stab at streaming.
Okay.
So there was Netflix, Amazon, then NBC was like, let's do our streaming, and it was called CISO. So they were like, hey, we want to do a stand-up special with you. But they were the only ones knocking at the time, you know? Obviously, Netflix, everyone wanted that. But CISO was offering. I'm like, okay, I'd rather create art than not create art. It's still a level up. I'm like, okay. So I got to make this great special, but nobody got to see it. You know, it was at a theater. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
But nobody knew what CISO was, so no one really saw it. And then I think Comedy Central licensed it. It's on their YouTube now, which is nice because people are discovering it now. But at the time, nobody saw it. And it was a traditional special. Like, you do it at a theater. And, yeah. So that was great. And then I'm like, okay, it's time for a new special. I go, do I do the same thing? And this landscape is changing with YouTube and all that. I go, okay, I think YouTube is the route. I'm going to do that. But then I go, I'm at a weird place in my career where I'm pretty good as an artist. I'm very many years in. I'm very skilled at what I do. I will say that because I've been doing it like 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do my Kanye
Agreed.
shit. I'm going to do my
No,
Kanye
agreed.
shit. You know, the modesty is good to a point. For real.
Yeah.
Modesty
Yeah.
is good to a point, but sometimes you can be so modest where it's detrimental, where it's like it's not real anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and you're holding yourself back. So my breakthrough is like I've been doing it I'm there. So it was time to do a special. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it YouTube. I need to bridge the gap between artistically where I am and awareness because people don't know who I am yet. So I need to bridge that gap somehow. And then that's where the wheels were turning. I go, okay, I'm a regular at the Comedy Store. I've been there many years. It's a magical place. It's referenced on podcasts all the time. Even being a paid regular there is a barrier of entry. Like, not every comedian is allowed to be a paid regular. And then I was just like, oh man, I can't believe no one has ever filmed the Comedy Store on a regular night of operation, really. Just because normally when the people do a special at the Comedy Store, it's dark for the night. So they just, there's lights and there's no show going on because there's camera crews and shit and they dress it up. It looks, it's not like when you go there. It's like a Hollywood version of the store. There's neons and stuff. But no one ever just films the bones of the place while it's just a regular night. Yeah. Like when you see the special, those people aren't there for me specifically. There's a lineup of like 10 people. So there's something cool about, oh, this is just a guy it's capturing a true night of stand-up where that's what real stand-up is. Not real, but like part of stand-up when nobody knows who you are is making strangers laugh. Yeah. And that's a different thing than a theater of like your fans coming out to support you. That's a great thing too. But I wanted to capture this other thing of just a stand-up comedian, nightclub comedian making strangers laugh and bouncing around from room to room. Because that place is kinetic. Yeah. And no one has ever captured it like that. And I was like, are you sure no one's done it? I can't believe no one's done it. Right. I go, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I directed it too. I just kept the footprint really small so that no one would really know that we're there. That's the other thing too. It's like, you don't want people to know they're being filmed because then they laugh differently and they act differently. So our footprint was so small that people didn't even know that it was being filmed. Wow. And I think that's kind of an honest response. I wanted that honest response rather than, okay, there's crane shots, everybody's coming out, all right. Because then you get laughs and stuff, and it's still great, but it's a produced special rather than, I wanted to capture rather than present, you know? Yeah.
Is there a little extra pressure? Like, I'd imagine practice versus game day. Like, like, this is it. You know?
Do you get
well,
nervous?
no. Okay, so here's the thing. With the way I did this special, I removed that shit from it because
it's just
I'm just logging sets, you know? I'm doing a couple sets in the OR. I'm doing a couple sets in the main room. I'm doing a couple sets in the belly room. And then I'm just, like, stringing together, like, okay, I like this one. We got it. I like this one. We got it. Because I didn't want to do the whole thing of, all right, we got to get it in one take. Okay. Because then you're a different performer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous now, or?
Not real. I mean, you do. It's probably how you guys are with games. Like, you've prepared. You kind of know every iteration of what can happen. So you're excited, but you're not, like...
tense.
Yeah. You're
The
excited.
first sentence, are you like you're just like okay,
I think I've just done so many sets
Uh-huh.
that I know I've seen it. I've seen so many different ways it can go.
yeah,
Like I'm not gonna be surprised by anything that happens.
Yeah.
that's good.
I've had such variations between like worst shows to best shows that whatever I'm doing, say
roll
next
with it.
week, is gonna be somewhere in between there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For us in football, or at least for me, it's the first hit.
yeah, the first
Like
Mm.
once like I'm someone
tackle,
makes
you're like,
contact,
alright,
I'm
cool.
on the ground. I'm like, okay, the game started. It's something. Maybe it's like a heightened awareness, like a fight or flight response.
I would say first laugh is akin to that
Okay.
because you're like, okay, now we're rolling.
Okay, now we're rolling.
Now we're rolling.
Yeah. Or like a first completion for me. Like I see it spinning, I see someone catch it. Or basketball, I can imagine like you see it going through the hoop.
yeah.
Like okay, like let's go.
Also, first laugh, you kind of, whatever the first response from the audience is, you kind of get a gauge of what type of crowd it is.
Uh-huh.
Because if it's a huge laugh off top, you're like, oh, they're fun. This is gonna be great.
Is that just variable? Like it's just like are some crowds shitty? We're like
Sometimes.
you guys suck. Like, I'm telling all my best
But
jokes. You guys.
here's a trap. Some young comics, maybe 2 years in, if they're saying crowds are shitty all the time, that's
probably
dangerous.
them,
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be the comic who's like shitty crowd. Every crowd they play, worst crowd ever.
The guy next up goes, and
crazy.
just everybody's laughing.
It's crazy how you keep hitting all these bad crowds. He's like, yeah, you think I'd get a better one?
Bad luck.
It's definitely not me.
Unlucky trail of 15 in a row. That's crazy. Yeah.
So after posting your most recent special, like you working on new material now? Like are you just like writing? Like how's that process? Like you're just searching for new bits?
I love being in this period of creation where I was trying to hone all the stuff for the special and you're fine tuning, so you're not writing a ton because you're trying to get what you have on wax like super tight. And then now I'm just in the creation phase. So everything I'm doing on tour is just it's a new hour, and then I'll think of new things to try to inject in it, and then the cities kind of help me inform. Okay, this is like you were saying earlier. This is too hot for this area. Let's dial it back a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So now I get to create, and that's fun. It's more spaghetti against the wall, like the show that you came to.
Yeah.
That's just all right. Let's throw some ideas out here.
That was great.
What does the creation process look like for you? Are you just going through general life and you're like, that's funny?
Or it's like what you're talking about at the airport. Like, oh, this would be funny. Like, what if they did this?
Here, okay, so yeah, I live life. Something strikes me, I'll jot it down. Maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not a thing. Like,
And you can dress it up too, right?
what do you mean?
Like if it's like kind of funny and you can add some details.
Sure,
like, make
but you
it-
don't want to have to dress it up. So, like, if you have to
Yeah.
put too much dressing on it, that's a bad
No salad,
foundation.
drop your
Yeah. You shouldn't have to put too much sauce on it.
Okay.
The idea should be good enough where, like, a good steak doesn't need a lot of sauce.
That's right. Or no sauce.
That's it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let me
Is this
see.
your notes?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see like
yeah.
what I've
I'm
come up in the last 2 days. Let's
I'm
say
curious.
just these might be
Yeah.
terrible.
Do you just have like? Is it just words to yourself? Are they sentences? Are they like?
Which is probably topics.
Yeah, just kind of enough. It's almost like a stenographer where enough words to capture the idea so that I don't lose it.
Forget it.
That's the worst feeling as a comedian because that's our marketplace. We work in ideas. So if you forget something that you thought was great, that's the worst feeling.
You lost money.
You lost
basically.
money, yeah.
Right on the table.
It's interesting though, because like think about it, or at least for me, like everyone's looking down at their phone. Like no one's really observant of their environment. I feel like comics are some of the most observant humans.
Most aware.
aware. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Aware of like little details.
Because funny shit happens to everybody in this truck, I would say.
For sure.
But I think because we do so many shows and we're wired this way because our livelihood is built off of this stuff, like we know to recognize rather than just like proceeding with your day. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, let me jot this down.
That's funny.
Yeah, like you don't jot down enough, so you don't know that it happened, or you don't know your comedy language yet.
I'm looking at the phone. There's a lot.
It's a lot of
There's a
well,
lot.
yeah. Well,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God, bro.
Oh my
Holy.
goodness.
but that's just living
I
life.
was not
It's like a
expecting that.
25-page.
And that's barely anything.
There's
That's
just blocks of
but,
text.
but imagine if you jotted down a few ideas every day. It's gonna add up.
Oh, so that wasn't
That's a
just
lot.
2 days.
That's not just today. No, this is just like the one notepad that I put everything into.
Oh, okay.
So this has been going on like
That's
since
a
I've been a
lot.
comedian or since I got an iPhone. 'Cause
Gotcha.
before it was paper and shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was just thinking like, oh yeah, like so the American viewers is very strange. Like we love we love seeing British people being British in the past. Like, only in the past. Like, we want to see dragons and shit, and, like, we don't want to see you present day if you're British, unless you're baking a cake.
That's awesome. OJ's British, too.
Yeah.
See?
He was like, I didn't even know that.
Because we have Bake Off, all the Americans watch it.
Yes, but that's the only present day thing that we clamor for. Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to
Peaky
see...
Blinders.
Look at his face.
Right? It's like
It is
Game of
old
Thrones.
British.
It's Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
It's like all the blockbuster shit is British people being British in the past.
19,
Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
1920s, like. Okay.
Yeah.
Fact is true, though. He's not wrong.
What was the Queen's show? There was a show about.
Oh yeah, The Crown. The
Yeah,
Crown.
Yeah,
Bridgerton. Like,
Yeah.
we don't care. We want you to be British in the past.
Right.
That's just our jam.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Yeah,
There's a lot of history.
I mean, this is like a dumb.
That's,
Like, I don't.
OJ took that personally.
Like, I don't know if this will work or not. It's just like a dumb sentence that I wrote. Maybe it'll work just as a non sequitur on stage. I just wanted to be like, did you know parkour was invented by a French guy who found out his girlfriend is pregnant?
Where did that come from, though?
I don't get it.
You don't get
You
it?
don't get it? Like he's running away.
But, dude, like, how did you. Where did that come from?
I
you're
don't
just
Saw
know.
a guy running doing parkour.
Yeah. This is just a funny thought to me. Like, that's the most extreme way to like walk out on your family. Is it just open up a window and just go down brick walls and like swing through pipes? Yeah. So we'll see how it does with the crowd. Like,
Yeah.
it tickles me, but yeah,
That one took me a little time.
sure.
Matt got it right.
But if I started doing the act out on stage, you'd be like, ah, okay, that's funny.
once
He's
you
moving
went-
around. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just so silly. You're like,
It's so
what?
funny.
Like,
I
yeah,
mean,
how'd you-
it's
how'd
so
you come
absurd.
up
Just
with that?
imagine a girl being like, I'm pregnant, and him like letting that sit in, then opening up the window and just and
swinging.
and that's how parkour was invented.
Do you ever get where people are just like, yo, be funny? Like,
Oh, that's the worst,
make
man.
jokes,
It's
like,
sort of like when you
like a monkey or something.
no, you know,
just like,
it's a that's the worst when they go be funny or tell me a joke. That's always. And then another one too is don't put this in your thing. They'll be talking. Whenever someone says "Don't put this in your thing,"
You're like,
they're
"I'm going
talking
to."
about the most boring thing in the world. I go,
Right.
do you
Oh,
understand?
really?
I'm a stand-up comedian. My job is to make a crowd laugh.
Right.
Why would I? Yeah, because they'll be like, I was trying to get an apple pie. So I was at Ralph's, and they were out of apple pies. So he offered me a cherry pie, and I got the cherry pie, but I really want an apple. Don't put this in your thing.
You're like, all right.
I go,
like, don't worry, buddy.
I don't know how I would.
Yeah.
And the ironic thing is, if I did, I'd be like, now he's in my thing. Like this meta version of, don't put this in there. Like, you're safe.
you're good.
Yeah. I think regular people will get it too sometimes or it's like non-stand-ups. If you're an introvert and they're like, why are you so quiet? Or just like fucking let the person be. Sometimes extroverts won't let introverts be introverts. Like,
That's how Matt is.
telling an introvert, why are you so quiet? Is like, shut the fuck up. Why are you so loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Introverts don't go to extroverts and say, why are you so loud?
That's true.
So don't go up to an introvert and be like, how come, you're really quiet? Why are you so quiet? Because we're different.
Oh, you're an introvert.
Yeah.
Are you
Really?
actually
A little bit. Yeah. I think I'm like,
in the middle?
that's what's the troubling thing, or not troubling, but because you have that thing of being a comedian. Like, this is fun. I know you guys, like you invited me to be on the podcast, and
Known OJ for years.
yes,
Yeah,
we
way
go
back.
way back. Yeah. I love watching British people. Yeah. So this is very,
In the present.
so like they'll expect you to be the bouncing off the walls guy, but again, if I'm at a party and I don't know anybody, like
Yeah.
I want to chill. Like you didn't hire me for a corporate event,
Right.
right? Like if I'm just like hanging out, like just let me be. I'll lay in the cut.
So you can turn it on and off.
I can turn-
is what
like-
you're saying.
I'll have these ideas. Like the stage is a place for me to work out. I can have fun. There's a time and a place for it for me, and I have the most fun working it out in this sandbox on stage. But I don't want to feel like I have to be that guy when I don't want to be that guy, or it's not appropriate, or the burden of the party isn't on me. I'm like a +1 or something. Like,
Yeah.
why do I need to be stage guy when you don't even you didn't know my name till tonight? Like if I'm meeting someone,
Right.
Yeah.
like just because you hear stand-up comedian,
They
because
expect-
again, then you feel like put on the suit, monkey, or
Yeah.
Dance form.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty funny. All I can imagine when you're saying that is you're just at a wedding like trying to have like they're trying to get married, right? And you're just like cracking jokes, like trying to steal the stage.
Yeah. But I like that. I mean, I just came to that line right here. I liked it. I like going up to the extrovert and being like, "Hey, why are you so loud?"
Yeah.
Because that would never happen.
Right.
But the reverse happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just this is like a beacon for all the introverts out there. We're tired of it. We're taking over. You extroverts have had a run of it too long. We need to band together. And ironically, the introverts are going to be extroverts, just trying to charge and.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a little bit of an oxymoron, though. No? Like a
The introverted
stand-up
comedian?
yeah, right.
No, it exists. It exists. I think there's just more.
It's
Like,
uncommon,
Expect
though, for sure,
extroverts to be
right?
funny. There's
What's
a lot
that?
of introvert people that are really funny.
yeah.
True, but to get on stage in front of thousands of people like that, like
Yeah.
I
that.
think because that is such a surgical representation and moment in time where they are being that thing. But it's almost like watching Top Gun and being like, Tom Cruise doesn't fly planes.
Yeah.
true.
That's fucking weird. He was
Although-
flying planes for like, he was flying fighter jets for like 2 hours.
Although he did fly it, right, for the for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tom Cruise is a bad example. Wait, Brendan Fraser isn't an actual caveman? That's like a deep cut.
He's like,
Encino Man.
there's like no way he's a caveman. I don't know.
Wait,
Is
he's
it,
an actor who
Robert-
was.
Yeah, Pattinson's not Batman.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
Batmobile, though.
I met Pattinson one time.
Really
He came to the Comedy Store.
cool guy.
I mean, it was just like a pleasant hello. It's pretty hard to fuck up hello.
Right. You just said what's up.
Oh, I mean, I guess some celebrities are such assholes that if they'd be like, "Oh, he was an asshole," even just saying hello, like that's pretty.
Or some guys are like they feel like they're above you, and you could tell they're not really
Mm.
maybe into the conversation or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, pleasant,
he's
pleasant
a
guy.
huge- yeah.
Yeah. I
Did
was
you
like,
like?
I'm a huge Twilight fan. I can't believe this is happening. Oh my god, your eyes are glitter in real life too.
Are you a comic book guy?
A little bit.
Okay.
Like, what do you mean? Like the movies or?
Yeah, the movies. Like
I'll catch them, but I'm having a little bit of fatigue from
too much.
all of them. I don't know. Yeah, and now there's like She-Hulk, and there's just so many.
Marvel's
I haven't
just
even
like,
seen that one.
do whatever they had, they're just like, man, we can add this on.
Kind of.
Make
It's
a
hard
whole
to-
new movie.
Yeah, keep up with all the Marvels. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
It's hard to keep up. But I was watching Loki. I saw the Avengers. Yeah, it'll be a thing to do. But I'm not like pulling up with a camping chair and shit and dressing like the Hulk.
No,
and,
no,
yeah.
no.
Come on.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you with the.
You're like, oh no, you don't. I was gonna invite you, but okay.
You don't even support them, really?
Are you a comic book guy?
No, I'm probably along the lines of you, but you saying Pattinson kind of brought it up in
Oh
my
yeah,
head.
Dark
where-
Knight.
Yeah, where I didn't like the new Batman. I like the.
Whoa, bro!
Yeah.
This podcast is over. I'm out of here.
I
What
don't
was your
know.
qualms with
I-
it?
I prefer the
It's
character.
too slow, bro.
No, it was too dark for me.
Mm.
And
The Batman was
Yo!
too
Batman
dark.
was too dark.
That's
I would love for you to
wild.
direct a
Dress him up.
Batman, and it looks like a supermarket.
Yeah,
Is this
it's
like
just,
Ralph's?
super bright.
All right, so Batman is trying to get oatmeal from Ralph's. It's hard for him to find it, and then there's so many lights. We have so many lights. He gets in the
Dude,
Batmobile, but his
come
dome light is
on.
broken, so it's on the whole time.
it was way
What are
too
we
dark.
doing?
The Christian Bale was not like that.
You like the Christian Bale one the
Yeah,
best?
because he was more like the Playboy.
There's more
billionaire.
lights.
Yeah.
He was more well
It's
lit.
easier to see.
The lighting
I
was
just
a lot
imagine
better.
watching Batman with you at home or something, and you're just like cranking up the brightness on your TV.
Like, I can't see Batman. Is he supposed to be hiding or?
They should have like a director's cut that no one's asking for, like the illuminated, the brighter Batman edition.
What, Mo? That's
It's just there's-
wild.
they go, we
The
have
tone
one
was
sale,
dark.
an extended Blu-ray, brighter than you've ever
But
seen.
that's what
Batman.
the new like the new Dahmer documentary. Like that's also the tone. It's too dark. I'm not into the serial killer stuff.
People love that shit.
Dude, people are going
Bro,
crazy.
girls love that
Love
stuff.
serial
Like
killers.
Okay, I
the
have a theory.
podcast,
I have a theory.
I want to hear.
Yeah.
It. Yeah.
I have a theory why women love serial killer and murder stuff.
They
This
love
would be
it.
interesting.
I think part of going out with a guy or whatever, part of the allure. I hope I don't get canceled on this, but I'm just thinking it's like, no.
Definitely will
This is a
now.
precursor. Just, I'm exercising an idea. Maybe it's wrong, whatever. But okay, part of
Don't take this.
the disclaimer is longer than the actual idea. So when women go on dates and stuff, there's this huge risk that they're kind of embarking on. That's part of like this guy. You don't know them. Like they could kill you. That it's almost like you're going on a date with a bear. And I think when you fall in love with a guy and you have a boyfriend, it's almost like you've tamed this bear kind of a little bit. Like this guy who can hurt things and kill people like is so delicate and loves me. And watching murder stuff is is walking as close to that line as you can from a safe distance
without dying.
without dying. So exploring that feeling a little bit and knowing they're safe.
Wow.
Oh, but you think they secretly have a fantasy for that?
There's just something alluring about the opposite sex being bigger and stronger and could kill you, but doesn't because they love you. So how do you, what is that on steroids? And it's like murder stuff.
It's always gruesome. It is. It's always
Yeah.
gruesome too. It's never like some random shit. It's always like
oh, it's terrible.
all her legs were cut off and the guy
eats
ate
them.
her.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, Brad could do this to me, but he doesn't. Maybe there's a subconscious thing like,
Yeah.
oh my God, so many dates I went on could have ended this way, but it didn't.
And they'll be like attracted to the guys too. It's like a
Sure.
whole
Like
thing.
getting love letters in jail and stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty
The
wild.
like if you look at the podcast charts, like
Yeah.
by popularity, they're all like crime and
I just
serial
thought
killer
of a
stuff.
great like dating app is where you get matched up with serial killers. So it's just serial killers on there. So girls who are really into serial killers, he's like, hey, I'm Jeffrey. I like brains, and
Right.
and then you can like, hey, I just thought you were really cute, and you won't kill me. I think part of it too is
won't
like
kill
some
me?
girls,
Yeah.
like the ones who write into jail,
Uh-huh.
it's like gambling. They go, he won't do that to me.
Yeah.
I'll change
They
him.
want to be a
Oh,
part
they
of
want
like,
to
the-
change
I'll
the guy.
change him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they think
Maybe
that's
it's an ego thing then.
The ego
right.
thing.
Well, any woman that writes into Jeffrey Dahmer or one of these serial killers, they're gonna think like he won't
Not,
kill me.
maybe they think they're like too pretty or something.
Maybe, or I broke through him to him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tamed this beast.
No, sweetheart.
It's
you
like
did
riding a
not.
dragon,
Oh my god.
right?
See, if you can't tame the dragon, that's a
Yeah,
nice
it's
ride.
like
That's a
like
nice
putting your
ride.
hand on the dragon and be like, no, to like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever that phrase was, and then just like hopping on and be like, woo.
Yeah. I don't think you'll get canceled for that. I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's a pretty measured, yeah.
It was much worse.
But whenever you
There's a shadow there.
generalize, you know, yeah. What if I still do? I'm flying to Detroit and the TMZ cameras are there. I go,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was in a food truck. I wasn't in the right. I wasn't in the right mind.
I thought they were gonna take me.
I was held at gunpoint. That's great.
I think it's a good theory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I- oh, I have-
there's
I-
something going on. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have another theory.
Oh yeah.
This is like a little pivot though.
Oh yeah.
So why women love dressing up country
Oh, I
and
love girls that dress
going
up
to
country.
Stagecoach and all that and like bachelorette parties where they dress up country?
I love that.
Okay, here's the reason I think women like that. Because it's it's an acceptable version of cosplay.
Ooh.
Right? Like dressing up like Chun-Li. That is a step too far for a lot of girls.
As in like cultural
But
appropriation.
throwing on a cowboy hat, it's still common enough where it's like cosplay, but socially acceptable. Like you could still go into a Ralph's, but you can't go into a Ralph's dressed as Chun-Li.
No.
I
They
mean,
get
you
fired
can.
up for Halloween. Then is what you're saying.
What's that?
They get fired up for Halloween then, because that's so.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it's preseason for Halloween.
Stagecoach is preseason.
Stagecoach is preseason for Halloween.
Yeah.
They work the kinks out. They you get in character. And then what if they have like Becky? It's like, okay, look at this. Look at what you're doing wrong right here.
They're watching
These
film.
pants. Yeah, they're looking film. Okay, I don't like the way that you rolled out here. Yeah. Okay, you grab 2 White Claws. You can do a third. I believe in you.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
Just Stagecoach film. She's like, yeah, you're right. I should do better.
I knew I should have done that
Sorry.
one.
Or she goes, you're not gonna make the squad. I'm sorry. We're bringing Tiffany in. It's like Hard Knocks at Stagecoach.
Cutting. That's like a sorority.
GM.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough week for Becky. But here comes the new recruit, Stephanie. Yeah,
Do you have any like Halloween theories? 'Cause I feel like that's just
man,
you know, on
Halloween
steroids,
theories.
like-
Yeah, these
Yeah,
these
you
are
got
some
any
banger
other
theories,
theories?
right?
Yeah, here.
These are
2
pretty
for 2
solid.
right here.
Come on.
There's something going on there though. You know,
With-
like,
with
like
the-
all the cat outfits. Like there's got to be something there. Cats. What else?
It's because
What
guys
are the other
guys
top
secretly
ones?
want to fuck cats. That's my third. That's my third theory that I just came up with. Right?
think
Because
so?
when you see a cat, you're like, if only she were human.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Right?
Whoa.
Come on, guys. I'm not the only one. Whatever. Fuck you guys. You never fucked a cat? Okay. Yeah, I'm.
You guys
want to
act all cool in front of the
Like,
camera?
oh yeah, just because you're football players and like you don't fuck
A
cats.
catwalk is feminine though, for sure, right? Like the
Yeah,
way a
yeah,
cat
yeah,
walks,
yeah.
right? So there's something there.
I think I nailed it.
Yeah, that
Wait,
was
wait,
it. The
You've
walk.
been watching cats walk? That's
Yeah.
what you're taking from this?
I'm just saying, cats are more feminine than dogs. Dogs are more masculine.
What if
in
that's
my
what gets you
opinion.
canceled? Like I was so worried, and then this trends.
I'm on the ESPN
Cats are
show.
identified as dogs?
USC
I just
quote.
imagine the like you
Cats are
doing
hot?
the press
Question
release. I'm sorry about my statements about cats and generalizing their walks.
And the gender.
Yeah.
Identifying them as
Any-
gender.
anybody
Yeah,
can
yeah.
walk however they want.
Gender a cat?
I'm resigning.
I'm
I'm getting educated.
I'm taking a quote.
Yeah, that's the
going
thing
to-
you got to say. Like, I'm getting educated. I want to see what is this education. Like, what is the class? Is it like detention?
Yeah, exactly. Then you have to watch videos of cats. You're like, see, it can be a boy too.
Or is it like
male
traffic
cat.
school where you just like click yes on a bunch of things and they go, yeah, you've been educated for your rehabbed for your Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, you just click through it. You don't have to read it.
Yeah, I've done one of those.
Sometimes they put the timer on there, so you
Oh,
have to
shit.
like wait.
Time?
Those are the worst. Yeah, they do
We
that
do that
for
here
school.
for Title IX.
Yeah.
We read that.
Oh man.
OJ,
OJ.
you gonna expose us like that, dude? What is good with you?
Wait,
right
no,
now?
I read all of that stuff.
Damn, that's funny.
You a conspiracy theory guy
not,
then?
not really.
No.
I mean,
What about aliens?
Ooh.
We had an astronaut on.
oh really?
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, okay. Here's another theory. It's not as hot as these other two, but I was thinking the timing of it all was interesting. Remember when they killed? I did it in one of my things in the belly room, but like they killed Epstein. You know?
Yeah, someone did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, someone totally did. And normally in the past, like they do a better job of like hiding it and like with some fun, but this is like so obvious. Like the world knows they killed him. Some fuckery was going on, obviously. And then I think the government thought that there was going to be a bigger uprising from people, but we just kind of stayed on Instagram and TikTok and shit. And then they're like, oh, okay, people are pretty cool.
Sweet.
Let's tell them aliens exist.
Yeah.
Right? Because then all this UFO came out immediately after.
All the Navy stuff.
Yeah, with all those videos.
Pilot. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's like part humorous but part true. Just like, okay, they're pretty chill about obviously suiciding someone. We could tell them they're pretty cool. Let's tell them about this UFO stuff.
Oh, like
They're
it was
ge-
the time
Yeah.
to do it.
They're like, all right, they can know. They're old enough now.
yeah. Like we just didn't know how you were society, but you're pretty cool.
Right.
We can tell you. We thought you could handle it.
Yeah.
We thought you would ride in the streets. But
Yeah.
the Epstein thing has told us, yeah, you're cool.
They almost did, right? Didn't they almost storm Area 51 or something like
Oh.
that? That was,
Oh, they did that as a meme originally.
Yeah.
A bunch of people actually showed up, and the government was like, "You will get shot." Please don't try.
Like
Yeah.
10 people came. They're like, oh, I thought this wasn't a joke. I thought this was real.
It's like the guy who jumps in the pool at a party because he sees it in the movies, but no one actually jumps
No
in
one
the
else
pool.
jumps
in.
Yeah.
You're like, no one else is doing this. I'm just wet at this party now.
Just
That's
soaking
terrible.
wet.
At night.
You're just drying off in the guest room,
Yeah.
and you re-enter the party like you weren't the guy who jumped in. Oh, I fell in. I tripped.
Yeah.
No, you said cowabunga, dude.
Yeah.
and you
The
tuck your
cannonball.
knees in.
You said who wants to join.
No, you're remembering it wrong. No, I tied my shoes and I kind of fell in.
You guys must have been watching The Cat or something. That's great.
Oh shit! All right, let's wrap it up, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
man.
coming.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people catch you like moving forward?
Website, FahimAnwar.com, and then check out the special. I just put it out recently. It's called Hat Trick. So if you go to YouTube and just type in Fahim Anwar Hat Trick or Hat Trick Comedy Store, it'll pop up. And then on the
That was really
socials,
funny.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. On IG, Fahim Anwar, and then TikTok is Fahim Anwar Comedy because some Fahim
Hey.
Anwar.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the
Obvious.
terrorist Fahim Anwar who got it.
Maybe
Yeah.
Right? The one that I
Yeah.
got
I think
stopped
it was-
for?
yeah.
He-
post
fuck.
terrorist content on there.
Yeah, like, hey.
How to make a bomb?
Yeah. Here's my guns.
Or he's just like Tony Robbins for other terrorists. Like, just don't believe in yourself. Start small. Build it up. Okay? Like, you don't need a lot of stuff. You could start with ninja stars taped to you and then build up to explosives. My first stuff I didn't have explosives. I just had blades. And then you make a little more money, and then you have powder. You,
You get a few bodies.
You get fertilizer, and then you go bigger. You know, nobody starts at the top. It's just a slow grind. It's just
That's a bit a motivational
slow
speaker.
grind.
just killing it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, all right, keep following me for tips, and just I hope you guys kill it out there.
Yeah, like
Keep on killing it. He's like a terrorist, Gary V.
He said, keep on.
Look, you say I'm too tired. I can't terror today. Well, then you're not going to be a terrorist, okay? So like, how bad do you want it? Do you want to be like? Do you want to be like Osama, or do you want to be like Akbar such and such? You don't know Akbar such and such? Because he didn't have what it takes.
He didn't have to drive.
He didn't have to drive. He had great potential, but it was wasted. So yeah, hit like, subscribe, smash that like button.
Smash that like.
Smash.
And keep on killing.
Yeah, keep on killing. I'm selling merch. You got merch.
Killing the game.
Yeah, I'm selling my own fertilizer and like my own Nokia cell phones from the 90s. They're great for detonating.
That's wild, dude.
Bro, I just snorted. I'm crying.
All right.
All right, bro. That was fun.
We'll
Thank
catch
you.
you.
Yeah, man.
Peace.
Thanks, guys. Peace.